Hello everybody. Today I'm driving from Woodley through Kilimani to Nairobi CBD. So I'm crossing Kilimani and I just want to show you a little bit of Kilimani. A little backstory on Kilimani. Kilimani is a residential neighborhood in Nairobi, in the city of Nairobi. Kilimani was once a low density neighborhood in Nairobi. It was similar to Muthaiga, Runda, Karen and such. But from 2000 towards from the 21st century, the buildings started becoming more high density. They started building uh, low-rise apartments in the early 2000s. Let's say in the 2000s, they were building low-rise apartments, but over time, the low-rise have turned into high-rise apartments, which sometimes is bringing a lot of problems with some people claiming the infrastructure available is not enough to accommodate the high rises, but it's not bad. You can see, as you can see, the high rises are not bad. The roads are quite good. So here we are driving through Kilimani towards the CBD. Kilimani, like most neighborhoods in Kenya that have the name Kilimani or Milimani, is a high-end neighborhood. It was right now is an upper middle class. You can say upper middle class for Nairobi standards. But if you take it to another town within Kenya, it will be maybe a high-end neighborhood. It is an upper middle class neighborhood with a lot of apartments being constructed, something that has caused some of the minor roads to get dilapidated because of the construction of high rises. Kilimani, the word Kilimani can be used to refer to Kilimani ward, which constitutes several neighborhoods such as part of Upper Hill, Hurlingham, Caledonia, and Kilimani itself. And we also have Kilimani neighborhood, which is just the Kilimani estate. The elevation of Kilimani is about 1700 meters above sea level, which is quite high for a settled area. Generally, most of the settled areas in Kenya are very high. The lowlands are normally mostly never settled, apart from the coastal areas. But when you go to northeastern, Marsabit, which are lowlands, and bring the average elevation of Kenya to about 700, there are very few people living there. But the regions around the highlands, western and Rift Valley, they are normally very high, and that is where most of the population live. Nairobi is the second highest capital city in Africa after Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa's elevation is about 2,300 meters above sea level. Nairobi's elevation is about 1,800 above sea level, which makes it very cold, especially for people who come from hotter countries like West African countries. Or if you come from the coastal areas like Mombasa and wherever, you'll find Nairobi very cold. So Kilimani during the cold season can be really cold. Just look at those apartments. Those were the initial apartments in Kilimani, the ones with hipped roofs in the 2000s. But in the 2010s, developers started coming up with the higher, more contemporary flat-roofed apartments. But I like the ones from the 2000s better. They gave a European feel. No, not that European architecture is superior, but I just like those hipped roofs. They look very beautiful, especially from above. But the ones that are coming up today, well, they are bigger, taller. So you can understand. It makes sense when people start doing them instead of the ones that they used to do. It is understandable. Kilimani is now a very metropolitan area. Actually, many foreigners who come to Nairobi and want to settle or live for some days or stay around for some days before leaving, they normally choose Kilimani. I don't know. I think it's maybe because Kilimani is an all-rounded neighborhood. It is a neighborhood where you can find everything: nightclubs, entertainment, sports, hotels, supermarkets, groceries. When you compare to many other high-end neighborhoods like Karen is normally a place where a quiet place where the rich old money and the retired, but it's not as exciting as Kilimani. Kilimani is very exciting. Though the high densities Kilimani is also creating problems because the people in Kilimani were used to very high standards of life, very high standards of infrastructure, and now as more and more apartments are coming, that seems to be going away. It is becoming more and more like an estate of everyone. There was a time in the 2000s you needed to be very, very, very rich to afford to live in Kilimani. Currently, many people can afford, though it's still a good estate, still a nice estate, several high rises, a lot of fun places, very multicultural. You will find the Chinese here. Actually, some people think that Kilimani will be the first Chinatown in Kenya. Very many Chinese here, Nigerians, Black Americans also come here. So many people, it's very cosmopolitan. You can see how many high rises are coming up. And because of the construction of these high rises, some of the minor roads are really getting a beating. And the current governor, Sakaja, is bearing the brunt of it because people are sharing the photos of such roads online and making it look like the whole of Kilimani is like that. Despite that, the infrastructure has to be upgraded because the neighborhood is turning from a low density neighborhood to a high density neighborhood at a very fast rate. But the roads are good. Most of the roads are good. You just find a few of them that are in bad conditions, mainly because of construction. But most of the roads are good in Kilimani. Kilimani is a Swahili word that means on top of a hill or on top of a mountain. It also has another version called Milimani, which is simply the plural of Kilimani. If you haven't noticed, most high-end neighborhoods in Kenyan towns are called Milimani. If you go to Kisumu, Kakamega, Nakuru, Eldoret, I don't know if there's a Milimani in Eldoret, but most towns in Kenya have a Milimani, which is normally the prime neighborhood. Here in Nairobi, we have Kilimani. We also have Milimani, though Milimani is less popular and smaller than Kilimani. But Milimani is more affluent than Kilimani. Milimani is the area around Jakaya Kikwete Road. Milimani is the area around the Jakaya Kikwete Road. Jakaya Kikwete Road used to be called Milimani Road before it was renamed Jakaya Kikwete Road. And Dennis Pritt Road, that area is called Milimani. It is more affluent than Kilimani. When you look at it, it's more quieter. It is around the State House. It looks generally richer than Kilimani, but it's not as exciting as Kilimani. Kilimani also has one of the oldest malls in Kenya, Yaya Center. There was a time Kenya had only 3 malls. There was Yaya Center, there was Sarit Center, and there was Village Market. Yaya Center in Kilimani, Sarit Center in Westlands, and Village Market in Roslyn or Gigiri? Roslyn, Gigiri, thereabout. And they created a way. Those 3 malls created a precedence that led to Kenya being the mall capital of Africa, maybe outside South Africa. If you come to Kenya, there are so many malls. I think only South Africa in sub-Saharan Africa has more malls than Kenya. Those 3 malls, they led to many other malls. And now in every Kenyan town, even very small towns, you'll find a big mall. That is unlike most other countries in Africa, where you'll find a mid-sized city with no mall at all. But in Kenya, there are malls everywhere. You can't believe that about 30 years ago, we only had three malls: Yaya Center, Sarit Center, and Village Market. As you can see, that yellow building out there, the incomplete one, it houses the Yaya Center. I think this road is now the real Kilimani. When people talk of Kilimani, mostly they are referring to this area. This is like the shopping center of Kilimani. So this is the Kilimani. If Kilimani was a city on its own, this would be the CBD. You can see the different architecture in Kilimani. The brown building there, it is a very unique building. You can see its architecture is very unique. I like the brick cladding. Then there is the FCB Bank with Arabic architecture. The tall building ahead, that is the FC Bank with Arabic architecture. This is the Yaya Center, which is one of the oldest malls in Kenya. I don't know, is Sarit Center I think Sarit Center is the oldest mall. We also have the mall in Westlands. I don't know between Sarit Center and the mall which one is older, but both are very old malls. Currently in Nairobi, there are so many malls. Every neighborhood has its own mall. Even Yaya Center now looks like a very tiny mall. Nobody cares about it. There was a time Yaya Center was everything. People used to come to Yaya Center to have fun and whatever. Nowadays, a random neighborhood in Eastlands has a bigger mall than Yaya Center. That is the Ethiopian Church, Orthodox Church. There are also many Ethiopians in Kilimani, by the way. Most Ethiopians who come to Kenya love living in Kilimani. There is an Ethiopian community in Kilimani. There are Ethiopian restaurants, Ethiopian churches, and whatsoever. I don't know, is the Ethiopian Orthodox Church different from other Christian churches? I don't know. Do they have their own Bible? If there is an Ethiopian watching this, maybe you can enlighten us, because they normally have the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and it's very distinct from other churches, Christian churches. Maybe they have a different Bible with additional books like the Catholics.